And welcome to good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to episode 9 of the RBNY UK podcast. Guess who's back again? I've had a bit of a layoff. I've been away for a little bit, sorted a few bits out, but I'm really pleased to be back with my favourite people, talking about my favourite football club. I am joined today initially by Luke Hume, but then we are going to be joined a bit later on by co-founder Ronnie Piper. Luke, you good?
Yeah, I'm good. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. I'm just very pleased to be talking about New York Red Bulls again.
I'm very glad. Missed you. All right, should we run that intro then? Should we run that intro?
Let's roll the intro.
Welcome to the RBNY UK podcast.
Hello.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
How are we doing?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you, Scott?
Oh, I'm good, mate. I'm good. Like I said, it's just good to be talking to you boys again.
No, definitely good. It's nice to see a new, fresh-looking design as well. You boys have done well.
It's very nice, isn't it? I can take absolutely no credit for this. You chaps have done a cracking job. Superb. I'm a big fan.
So, first of all, we need the tissues, I think, because let's just address the elephant in the room.
What football didn't come home?
Yeah, well, that's enough about English football. But no, I've got to say the boys done us proud this year, the English national team, especially after the very tricky 18 months we've had, brought a nation together up until kickoff near enough when some people, I will use another word when I'm not live on air, decided to try and smash into Wembley. But on the actual pitch itself, brilliant. It was a very fun 4 weeks of football.
Yeah, definitely. Now, who's expected to get to the final?
Go on, Luke.
Who expected that to get in the final when we started the tournament? No one. Like, you totally, like, who people thought we would lose to Germany, then we lose to Ukraine, then Denmark would beat you. Like, so to get to the final, we broke the final hoodoo. And Italy haven't lost in 34 games. They're not some sort of pony team, they're a good team. It took them all the way to penalties. And let's be honest, penalties is Port lack. Like, and he's just quite unlucky.
No, I must say I have absolutely revelled in these last few weeks. I have loved being back down the pub for every game or being at a barbecue for every game and seeing my mates and having a drink and a laugh and really enjoying the football again. And the lads have done us really proud.
Yeah.
You know, especially, you know, I know we'll talk about that in a bit more detail a bit later on, especially the three chaps that missed that penalty. I think, we've got young lads.
Well, you've got very young lads. And that's something we need to talk about, I think. So, first of all, we've got a little video for you to watch.
Hate will never win.
Yeah.
It's for anyone who's listening on any of our audio platforms. The video we just played is available over on our Twitter page. It'll be our pinned tweet as you see this. But I know we've addressed this issue before when there was the social media silence and everyone, all major accounts, and then us as well, we went quiet. But it's just sick. It's horrid that three young lads have stepped up to take a penalty in the Euros final, and especially Bukayo Saka, who missed the last one, 19 years old, just to step up for a penalty for your country deserves the full respect of a nation. Yeah. But you have some fools who decide to racially abuse players on social media, and it's just a shame, like an absolute shame, and it's disgusting, really, that this is still a thing in modern society, and
Yeah.
how these social media, like especially your Twitters, it's so open. You can create hundreds and thousands of accounts if you want, and it seems okay. I do give the credit to, like, especially the police now, that there are now things out there in place that they will find these culprits. But I do apologise to the players and anyone, because it's no one deserves to be abused, no matter what colour you are, like where you're from, what gender you are. But it's just low lifes, and I think, boys, you'd agree with me in
Yeah.
agreeing like that.
I think what's even obviously you should never ever be racist. What's even more sad, I think, people are being racist for lots of game of football. I mean, at the end of the day, yes, we all want England to win. We all want our team to win. But it's a game of football at the end of the day. It's not going to change your life if they win. Like, there's far bigger things in the world to worry about. Marcus Rashford saw thousands of kids who were going to go hungry had school dinners. Like, he's an excellent role model to millions of people across the world. And people are being abusive to him over he missed a penalty kick. Like, it staggers the mind.
No, I think the worst thing is if he scores that penalty, he's lauded a hero. People are so fickle and so disgusting in their views and their ideals that all it would have taken is that ball to go into the net, and all of this wouldn't be happening, because that's the kind of people that we're dealing with here.
Oh yeah. I had a very I didn't, but I saw a very interesting chat on the Facebook group about Renee. And obviously, you got all these conspiracy theories about Renee and how you boo at a football stadium. But I would hope anyone who boos at a football stadium will be very quickly thrown out. I don't think anyone who boo Renee shouldn't be in football stadiums immediately. Like, if you've got a problem with people taking the knee, you're probably part of the issue.
100%. Well,
certainly.
When we look at Wembley Stadium, for example, and obviously there's such a small percentage who are booing, but were they booing Sterling when he scores? No, they won't be booing him then. So they contradict themselves, because I would say Raheem Sterling is one of England's best performers over the years.
Yeah.
But when he scored against Germany, who was booing him then? No one. It's just fickle. It's fickle, and it's disgusting, because especially these are idols to many people in the country, not just of a certain colour or anything, of any walk of life. What Rashford has done for, like, kids up and down the country, Sterling is a role model for what he's represented for England, and was the highest appearance maker for, like, most cap holder for England at the Euros. Grew up 5 minutes opposite the ground to play at Wembley, score against Germany. Like, it's what dreams are made of, and for a very, very small percentage of the country to ruin it, it's not fair. And then
heartbreaking.
Also seeing the vandalism on the Rashford painting up in Manchester, it's a beautiful work of art, and it's something deserved for what he's done. And one person decides, let's vandalise it because of him missing a penalty. It's a penalty. Like, all right, we wanted England to win the Euros, but it's not the end of the world. It's a game that we all love, but it is a game at the end of the day.
Like, our life's not any different. And if, say, England had won the penalty shootout, for example, our lives wouldn't be any different. We get to be bragging a bit more, probably. Like, not changed anything we're doing in life. Like it's heartbreaking, and your heart goes out to them.
I think as well, our media don't help the situation.
Oh no.
It was 3 games in, and Sterling had scored in every one of those games. He had an interview with the media, and they'd asked him, "Do you think that you've justified your selection?" Now, he had played considerably better than Harry Kane for those 3 games. That question would never be asked to Harry Kane, and you can look at it in a million different ways, but it's for one reason only.
No, 100% agree with you there, and it's at the end of the day, it's these boys who, especially you're looking at kids, it's not even men, they're boys. They're 19, 20, 21, up to 24 years old. And to have that amount of abuse on a daily, it's not good for anyone. And there's been clear evidence from the government that there needs to be something done. There's currently a petition in the UK to get every Twitter account that you have to have an ID form with it, so you know who's behind the account. I personally agree that there should be more done, and it's the taking of the knee or the social media darkness that actually says, look, people won't stand for it no more. And it's a shame because we're in the 21st century. It's 2021, and this is still clear and evident. And it's one thing that makes it easier because of social media, because they wouldn't say it to someone's face. Because they'd be too scared to say it to someone's face, because someone turns around and probably punch them in the face, or even if there's police nearby, they're arrested and see you later. Hopefully you go in prison for a nice long time. But it's a case of, as well, we need to find these people, and we're behind the aspect of, if we see it, we report it. And there's tools now in place on Twitter that you press report on a tweet and you say what it's for, and then that goes through into Twitter. And then if they find it to be of racial abuse or any other abuse, they will then flag it up with the police or the relevant agency in that area. And I think that's what everyone's got to start doing. If you see it, report it.
I think the problem is a lot of these people who are doing these sort of stuff. Yes, they're crazy in the head with things like it to be racist. They're not stupid people. They have VPNs on. They know they've got to hide it, and that's the problem. I think a lot of people just can't be found. Like, I agree. I think people do need to have. It's sad, but we become to the point where we need to prove our identity on these sort of platforms. It's not a nice thing. Like, people do this sort of stuff. What can you do? Like, it's very hard. And
I work in primary education, and I work in a particularly EAL school. So EAL stands for English as a second language, as an additional language, essentially. And all of my kids are England fans. They're all England fans because they live here. They've lived here for years. They've grown up around here, and they love the country. They came in after the final, and we had tears. We had tears because these children feel like they're being misrepresented, and they're being attacked. And I just think the fact that we've got generations of 9, 10, 11-year-old children crying after a football match due to racism, I just don't think we've got to sort something.
Horrific. It's genuinely horrific.
Yeah. Well, as we say, if you see it, report it, and no matter what environment it is, there is different channels in your areas to be reporting it, so all can be found online by doing the relevant searches. But moving on from obviously the disgusting scenes after the Euros, but we have had some Red Bull action of late, and we've had some decent performances of late as well. But obviously, me and Luke touched on further, and got Scott coming in now. So, what have you made of the recent Red Bulls form?
Yeah, I mean, the only game I've missed is the Philly game, and I think. Again, I don't know how you feel, but I'm not disappointed particularly.
No, I think when you're down to 10 men, you should be seeing a match out. That's the only thing I would say. But if we offered at the point before the Philly game, you would have taken it. We snapped their hands up for it. So it's not a bad point.
Yes, I know it was from the spot, but I think another goal for a striker, I think, is only going to breed confidence with the season.
I agree.
It was frustrating to lose the lead in the last 5 minutes, but I think overall, again, you take a point at home against Villa at any point right now. Yeah.
Also, we only got one defeat in the last 6. The only defeat we got is a 3-2 loss against New England. So we won 2-1 against Atlanta City on May 29th. Yeah. We won 2-0 against Nashville on 19th of June. And obviously, we lost the 24th of June to New England 3-2. And we got our first
draw against
Atlanta on June 27th. We beat Atlanta back in the old patch on 4th of July, Independence Weekend. And then we got a draw against Philadelphia. I didn't realize all them times are wrong. I'm looking at the UK ones. So you get the picture. So we've got one loss in the last 6. So that's always good to have that sort of record. That's always good. So yeah. So
Yeah, I mean, like I mentioned it earlier on, I think, the last few games we've had strikers put the ball in the net.
Yeah.
And I know, like Fabio obviously went through a bit of a drought where he was assisting, which was fantastic.
He's kicking
But now he's starting to really sort of get into it. Klamala's putting the ball in the net, whether it's through a penalty kick or through open play. And I just think that's the next thing for us. Having those two scoring regularly is going to take us from that sort of mid-tier to that top-tier end, because they are both excellent centre forwards.
Yeah, I agree. So in other continental world, across the pond, we've got the Gold Cup started up again, and it was the first game for the US men's national team the other day. We got a 1-0 win against Haiti, and our extra ball player Derek Etienne Jr. was actually in that team. I think I get the feeling I didn't watch it because that was way too late for me, but I get the feeling that we were maybe a bit lucky to win it. But
that's what I've heard and read.
That doesn't really matter, because if you win, you win. Like sometimes got the goal in the 8th minute, and a good opening win for the US boys.
What do we think of, just out of interest, what do we think of Derek Etienne? I mean, for me, I'll put it on the player. I would have him back as an option this season.
No.
I think he's a tremendous player. And he's really exciting. He's quick, and for like a squad filler, not would I wouldn't have him in the starting 11, but I think he's an absolutely fantastic player at this level. Luke disagrees.
I disagree. I think he's a decent player, but he's not a super player. He's not a top player. I'd like to say, not going to. I know he won the cup last year with Columbus Crew, and actually scored in the MLS Cup final.
Yep, he did.
But his record in MLS don't lie. Like, he got 60 games for us, 6 goals. 29 for Columbus Crew, 1 goal. Like, as someone who's playing.
Look, my point here isn't that I would have him in the starting 11 instead of Klamala or Fabio. I just think, and I'm not saying I'd even bring him in tomorrow, I just think he's not a bad option to have in an MLS side. I rate Derek Etienne. I've always rated Derek Etienne.
I like Derek Etienne. I interviewed him back in the day to take the game. He's a lovely, lovely chap. I got a lot of time for him, but I don't think you got. I think Danny Royer is basically playing that role now. So Derek Etienne was all played as like the second striker. You got Danny Royer playing for that. You got Tom Barlow playing for that role. It's just not going to happen. What would you drop Royer? Do you know what I'm saying?
I'm not right. Let's make this really clear. I'm not stating that New York Red Bulls should sign Derek Etienne tomorrow and that he fits into the team in a really perfect manner. I'm saying that Derek Etienne is a good MLS backup centre forward who I would not say no to if he came back to the club. That's it. That's the point.
He's a decent, cheap option. I'll put it that way. He's basically a Salzizo as a striker.
Ronnie, can you mediate, please?
It's good to be back. I do agree. I think Etienne's a very good squad player. He'll always give you his full as well. And obviously, with how long and tiring the MLS season is, it's good to have an asset like that. And I think Columbus done very well to pick him up for last season. Obviously, counted in when it mattered. But you do need a bit different sometimes off the bench. And he gave us that different aspect, obviously, before departing. That sometimes you need someone who's just going to run. They don't potentially have to put the ball in the back of the net, but just run.
He's a decent player. I'll give you that. He's a decent young player.
So I'm going to go as soon as this is finished. I'm going to go onto Sky Bet and I'm going to look forward for odds of Derek Etienne scoring against New York Red Bulls for Columbus this season. I'm going I'm stick 10 quid on there, definitely. But no, we're really pleased that the US have got that win, and as much as obviously we're English and we're England fans, being New York Red Bulls fans, we are really, really sort of passionate about American soccer, football, and we really do want the USMNT to go and win. Some other news across MLS and Red Bulls related this week is that Chris Armas predecessor to Jesse Marsh at New York Red Bulls, Supporters Shield winner, has been sacked from Toronto FC after a really poor start to the season. It took Toronto over a month to find their next hire. I do believe that they looked at other options before Armas, and I think due to the relationship with Ali Curtis from previously being at New York Red Bulls, they saw him as a safe and comfortable option. He is a well-respected man around the league and around the clubs, but his start again was somewhat lackluster. And it's it's showing now that he's maybe not ready for one of the top MLS jobs. I mean, on a personal note, I don't particularly rate Chris Armas, but I've got nothing against the man. I don't think he's a bad person. He got on really well with the locker room. He got on really well with the guys, and I think the club were quite reluctant to pull the trigger because I think they wanted it to work. I think Toronto have been a bit more ruthless, but I think a club at Toronto's level who have won as much as they have recently can't afford to sort of wait around as much as we were able to. Ronnie, what are your thoughts on Armas and his sacking in Toronto's future this season?
No, yeah, I think obviously it's never nice to see someone lose their job, but I think everyone had quite a similar agreement that I think Armas is a very, very good assistant. I think he does the job well with being a number 2. And it's a shame to see because there's quite a lot of managers out there who used to be number 2s who just never can work as a manager. It just doesn't fit at the moment. Maybe he suits another style of play or a different division or something like that. But no, it's never nice to see, especially an old Red Bulls coach lose their job. But Toronto's in a bit of a funny period at the moment, obviously, because everyone knows they've got stacked rosters and the history is always behind them for doing well. But after such a poor start, it's going to take a big job to get steady. They've got to steady the ship to begin with, but then also push forward and gain all the points lost. So they're going to be a team to look out for, definitely, because they've still got talent there, and Armas maybe didn't utilise their potential as much as he could. But no, I think they'll start picking up more results here and there. It's just I think confidence is a massive thing in football, and if they pick up one result against a decent team, who knows where they could do a little run or whatnot.
Yeah, Luke, what are your thoughts?
It's no secret. Me and Scott made our opinions of him as a coach perfectly clear. I don't think he's the best head coach. You can't fault him as a person. As a person, he's a very nice guy. He talks brilliantly. You cannot fault him that. I was shocked when Toronto appointed him because it didn't seem to add up. But when you get to a club at Toronto, you got a record of that's not right. Start with a record of 2, 10, and 3. You're not going to last long at Toronto. It's a sad reality. And I think the second from bottom of the league, got the most expensive, one of the most expensive voices in the league. It's just not going to work. But personally, I'm also very glad Jesse Marsh got rid of Ali Curtis before he left for Europe. Just imagine what could have happened if Ali Curtis and Chris Armas was in charge at Red Bull New York. The thought is staggering.
Yeah, I think one thing as well that obviously is not played into Toronto, even Montreal's hands, obviously the Canadian guidelines at the moment and forcing them to play outside of Canada, which is tricky because imagine if Red Bulls were told they had to play in Vancouver or something, it would be a whole different story. So obviously a part of it can be obviously they're playing at a different ground and they're playing a long way from home. It's not like they're playing around the corner. They're literally playing A, in a different country, and B, in a completely different weather and weather. So they were partly unlucky. I think that's maybe slightly to blame, but Montreal as well. If you're not your home your home advantage in the MLS is bigger than anything else near enough, and to not have that, it can go a long way to an unsuccessful season.
Yeah, definitely.
No, I think we need to look as well as some of the decisions he's made. Quentin Westberg as a goalkeeper has got the number one shirt under Greg Vanney toward the end of his tenure, and last season especially looked particularly good between the sticks. He immediately decided that Quentin Westberg wasn't his number one, and Alex Bono came in. Bono is a great goalkeeper. They have two number ones at that club. But when you look at the form that Westberg was in, I just don't really understand that switch. Then you've got to look at the likes of Jose Altidore, obviously former Red Bull man. He was frozen out. And there was a disagreement there. There was a fallout. There was a bit of an issue, and off he went to train with the 18s. And I think, to be honest, due to obviously MLS rules, due to the price of Josy's wage and place in this league, I don't think they'd be able to sell him.
No.
And I don't think they'd be able to sort of move him on anywhere. So I think it really did come down to the fact whether it was Josy or Chris. And I think financially and in terms of quality of player, I think Josy's always going to win that match.
I think the 7-0 didn't help either. We did it. 7-1
didn't help very well, does it?
Didn't help his case. But also another big talking point is obviously he signed Tom Dwyer from Orlando, who maybe 10 years ago, not probably 8 years ago, was a great MLS striker. Got all these goals, but lately,
I wouldn't even go. I'd say probably 4 years ago. 4 or 5 years ago.
4 or 5 years ago, like in 2016, he got 16 goals. He's got 24 since 2017.
He's not consistent enough. When he first played at SKC, he'd gone out on loan to Orlando when they were a USL team.
Yeah,
he absolutely he smashed it. Yeah, he's a fantastic player for that USL side. He then managed to go back into the SKC team, and under Peter Vermees, he looked like a sort of god tier striker. He was amazing at SKC. Yeah. Orlando came onto the scene, and they were looking to make some moves. They brought obviously Kaka. And then eventually Dom Dwyer came across, and he was a big name signing for Orlando. And it just didn't work.
No.
It just didn't work. I don't know whether it was a information issue or what, but it just didn't work.
What is quite ironic about that is, obviously, it's safe to say Chris Armetz and Dennis Hamlets, their best thing in their time in charge wasn't transfers. They had quite a few flops during their time. Mm-hmm. And there's always a bit of running joke about how Chris Armetz wanted to get Dom in. And it actually turned out he did want to get him in. He said when he signed him, I wanted to get him in back at Red Bull New York. There's quite a bit of irony there that he wanted to. It was a joke about how he'll become next. And all this time, he did want to get him in at Red Bulls.
Yeah, no, I know. I think this is the thing, though. I think with Dom, and I think hopefully I'll get some success at Toronto now. But I just think Chris's whole idea of formation, Toronto are a passing team. If you've got a team where you've got Pozuelo, Bradley through the middle, you are going to play the ball on the floor. You are going to build play. You are going to play a bit more patiently. And Armas came in and says, right, we're going to go and play the Red Bull press. And it's just, you're essentially starting from the back and you're ignoring these players like Bradley and Pozuelo. Pozuelo spent half the season on the bench. I know he was injured at the start, but he was one of my first picks for MLS Fantasy Draft because I love Pozuelo. I think he's a fantastic number 10. But he didn't fit this. He was trying to fit square pegs into round holes. It just wasn't a right fit for anybody.
No, you think also what you got to think about is it's no fault of Chris's own. It kind of is, but. He basically ruined his ties with Red Bull Group. Red Bull Group take good care of it, guys. You think of Jesse March, Jared Stuber. They take very good care of it, guys. When you're in, you're in. You don't lose it. Chris Armetz had a perfect opportunity. That team was set up perfectly by Jesse March. All he had to do, keep it together and manage it. And he was set up perfectly. That team could have dominated MLS for a few seasons, I think. How perfect that. I know you lost Tyler Adams after 18, but still a very good squad.
That's it. He he managed to keep it together for the rest of the 18 season because he changed nothing. He played exactly the way that Jesse was playing, and he just picked up where Jesse left off. And on that merit, he helped us win that Shield, and all credit to him. But then I think it was that, and I understand it as a manager when you say, right, this is my team now. He tried to change that press, and he tried to be a bit more patient with the press, and it just didn't work. It just didn't happen.
No, it didn't. No.
Luke, do you want to go up next?
Yeah, so we'll have a quick break now. We'll have a quick 5-second break. See you in a few seconds. Hello, welcome back. After that short little break, I hope you liked our new filler video. Make sure you watch the credits for the end of the story of the Englishman in New York. Right, so now it's time to go back. Our last game was against Philadelphia Union. It was 1-1. We've touched on it briefly. So we won't to go on it too much. We already touched on it. But a 1-1 draw. Patrick Kamala scoring the PK. With unfortunately, they got the equaliser on the 85th minute. When you watch this one, it was delayed for half an hour due to storms in thunderstorm warnings in New York, and the flooding in New York was so bad. The video of that subway shocked us.
Yeah.
So I'm glad it's all sorted now. I hope you're all safe and healthy now. But what do you think? What do you make of that match, Ronnie?
Yeah, it was one of them games that obviously there was quite a few chances in there, but it was a very dirty game, so to speak. There was quite a lot of fouls and little break-up tackles, and we was getting drawn into their philosophy of playing. Sometimes some players, Drew Yearwood on a couple of occasions, went a bit hard into a tackle, even though it was nothing out of the ordinary. It was just very stop-start, and it's not really momentum that we like to have, especially at Red Bull Arena. We like to play the ball quick and just keep the ball moving, and Klimala had a chance in the first half after a Fabio through ball, which was saved by the keeper. Maybe could have done better, but obviously when we got the penalty, red card to the keeper, I thought, right, score this 1-0, hopefully get another one and then seize the game off. But it kind of never really got going, the game. It was never a game that we was dominating. We might have had possession, but it was never that many chances, which was quite sad to see. And then obviously go 1-0 up, Kamala penalty, which was a nice finish, but then get pegged back right at the end was annoying. And so I personally see it as 2 points dropped on the actual day of the game, but before the game we would have probably taken a point.
Yeah, definitely.
Just to go over the lineup, obviously it was Coronel in goal. It was Duncan and Tolkien at wing back, Neelis and Edwards at centre half, Caceres, Carmona, Davis and Yearwood as the midfield four, and then obviously Fabio and Klimala up top. Which I'll be honest, you look at that side, I was really happy with that going into the game, especially going up against Daryl DK, sort of coming back into the Orlando fold. I thought that back four looks. Sorry, wrong game. Especially with that Philadelphia side, I was genuinely quite pleased with that.
No, yeah. I think Tolkien has gone under the radar a bit in the MLS this year, because you're looking at obviously 18 to 21 age group, especially with American players. Obviously the main guy that everyone talks about is Caden Clark, but Tolkien's got to be right up in the conversation, because every time he plays he impresses me even more. And at the age of 18 he's only going up from here, and with more experience and more playing time he's only going to get better. And I think he's going to be definitely a men's international player in the future, but it could be on the European radar soon as well.
Wouldn't surprise me at all if he was the next one along.
No, I don't think that'll be too long. Hopefully we keep him for a little while yet.
Oh yeah.
Yes, please.
Not blonde yet, Ronnie. No, you actually said when we did our review this time next week, I could be called Ronnie Tolkien.
Yeah, you could.
I can't say it's quite No, I can't. No,
Can't see your blonde shirt.
I don't think I'm breaking up. I don't
For
think you know.
anyone who's on podcast, I am not blonde yet.
Not blonde yet, no. It will be happening. Don't worry. We will make it happen.
They're saying they're going to make it
I would
happen.
get on the train and come to your house and die if I had to, Ronnie.
Well, let's put it out there. I will be putting a social media post up tomorrow, which would be
The
of
15th.
filming this would be Saturday,
Oh,
and
Saturday,
there will be a certain goal attached to it, and when it reaches the goal, the hair will change, guaranteed.
Okay, good.
And there's an added incentive that if Mr. Tolkien does respond again, I'll take the number down a bit because I do like Mr. Tolkien very personally.
Yeah, I gathered that.
So no, yeah, there will be a goal set on Saturday. So probably by the next time I'm on some sort of content or you'll see a picture, it could be Ronnie Tolkien.
Hopefully. That would be the dream, wouldn't it? Ronnie Tolkien.
Yes, it would. I love a bit of that.
We'll have a bit of Ronnie Tolkien.
I'll never live that one down.
No, you're not. We'll make sure it happens, Ronnie. Don't worry.
Okay. But no, like looking at the rest of the team, I've been very impressed with Caceres, especially like prior and after. Obviously, the Copa America we went to and played well there as well. But he's another one that's really maturing and is becoming a powerhouse in the team. That of last year / the year before, it was a bit all right. Yeah, he's a good team player. He was playing a bit deeper, but now this free roam, bit more attacking positioning he's got. I think he's coming into his own and playing really well.
Yeah, I would agree. I think he's really coming into his own. So many players who are pressing us now, isn't there?
Oh,
yeah. It's been a good start, isn't it? Really, in terms of player growth.
Been a great start. Let's be honest.
I think that's got to come down to saying well done on recruitment, especially because there was a few people, not even just this year, but over the past few years, there was sometimes a few people question like certain acquisitions, but looking at it, there's quite a few players who are actually very like maturing. But I think also another young player that I've really liked being with Wilkeman Carmona. I think he's a very good talent for the future, and at the 18 as well, another young kid who's playing like regular football who looks like he's definitely very silky on the ball and can get the ball from A to B very well. And I think every time he plays, he's looking better as well.
Yeah, definitely. I'll agree with that.
I think on top of that, I think you've got to really praise players like Sean Nealis, Christian Caceres, Sean Davis, that have been around the club for a bit longer and that have really sort of stepped it up a level this season to a point where I think they're playing at a much higher standard than they've been. I know Davis is a bit of a water carrier. I know he doesn't exactly look like he's doing anything special, but his role throughout that team's been fantastic. Caceres, I felt we missed him while he was away, and his goals, especially the first few games, were superb. So I'm really pleased with how the team's sort of gelling together, both old and new.
No, you have to say the team's gelling very well together. I think with maybe a bit more experience in the summer window, maybe next year. Me and Ed were talking about in Red Bull Review. This team could be a real contender in a year or two for MLS. That if they could keep the team together and I get another couple. I think the team may be lacking a bit of experience. It's a very young squad. It needs a very. Losing Aaron Long hasn't helped that. Let's be frank. But I think give him another year or so. Hope get Aaron Long back. For me, there's no reason why this team can't start competing again.
No, I agree. Moving on, Red Bull celebrate LGBTQ plus Pride Month, which culminates on the weekend at Red Bull Arena Pride Night. Ronnie, do you want to go into that?
I know, yeah, definitely. So, obviously, lovely, another weekend fixture, which is nice for us, so we don't have to have any late nights midweek. But obviously, still at RBA, still at Old Fortress, and it's a midnight kickoff for us, so 7 o'clock Eastern time. But good news for all our viewers in Britain is that it's been selected once again for Sky Sports, and it's on Sky Sports Mix, which is brilliant because the last fixture for Philly was actually on Premier Sports, which is a subscription-based service that ended up. I haven't subscribed yet, but I might do in the future if we have a few more games. But it's just lovely being on every game.
So often, yeah.
That's
I
great.
remember at some points in last season where we could go 7-8 fixtures and was never live at all. And it was, you like thinking, oh, right, where am I going to find this? Where am I going to watch that? But it's promising. I think obviously Inter Miami, because of Beckham and all that, that game's most likely always going to be on a Sky Sports. But
Yeah.
I'm not complaining. It's at Red Bull Arena. We're at home. We're live on Sky. And it's a midnight kickoff. So it's a late one, but not an actual really late one in comparison to what it could be. I think
No.
the last one obviously kicked off at 1:32 to be precise, which was a bit later on. But no, I'm looking forward to the game. I think Inter Miami are one of them teams that have not performed as they should have in terms of how good they are last season. Obviously, they've had quite a lot of off the field troubles this year, especially with finances and players' wages, which we could talk about for hours on end. But I'm quite looking forward to the fixture. Every game at RBA is a pleasure to watch, and I think we've got. I'm gaining confidence for a change, and I think we should be aiming for the 3 points.
No, absolutely.
Definitely, yeah.
And on top of that, I think with it being Pride Night and all that happening, it's another opportunity for us as a club and a community to show how we do stand with everyone. It doesn't matter
definitely.
who you are, where you're from, you know, your race, your gender, your sexual identity. You know, we're all humans, and especially at Red Bull, we're all Red Bull fans. Do you know what I mean? We all love this sport. And I think the States do these sort of nights better than we could ever imagine over in the UK. You know, like I think the Hurricane wearing the armband was fantastic a couple of weeks ago against Germany. But I think other than that, we tend to just wear some laces, which I don't think is anywhere near as big as it needs to be. So I'm really sort of excited to see what's going to go down at RBA. Unfortunately, though, I'm not going to be there, and neither is Luke, and neither is Ronnie. So that means there is a seat for it. Luke?
Yeah. So, time for another video. That's right. You can attend Pride Night. We have a special going. You can win it. It's very simple. At the time of recording, not that far, the time of release will be a tweet on our Twitter account. Or you can see on the screen right now, RBNY UK. All you have to do is retweet that tweet by winning a ticket and follow us back. We will pick a winner. This match is Sunday evening for us, isn't it?
Saturday. Is it Saturday evening and into
Saturday
Sunday?
evening in the States, yeah.
Sunday. Yes, we'll pick a winner early Saturday morning. So you will know Saturday morning if you're going or not. So go there, support the boys. The only rule is you have to go. Like, if you win a ticket, you have to go. Anything else, we transfer a ticket to you. And it's yours. So it's very
Take
simple.
a photo. Tag us in the photo.
Tag us photo.
Get excited.
Get a bit excited. It makes us feel like we're there. We're not really there because damn, the border's not been open.
Yeah.
Agreed. No, but moving back onto Pride Night itself, we are playing Inter Miami, David Beckham's super team, Phil Neville's boys.
I wonder why he got that job. Do you reckon he was the best into her? Or...
I think he might. I don't know how. He might know David Beckham.
Yeah, I reckon he might know him.
Maybe. Don't know.
Maybe, yeah.
No, obviously Phil Neville, former manager of the England Lionesses, taken them quite far in international tournaments, but not actually winning anything. Now finally being given a chance in the men's game by his Bezzy mate Dave, as we like to call him over here. Inter Miami have had a slow start to the campaign. We're looking at their record at the minute. They've only taken 1 point at home. Their away form, with it being at Red Bull Arena, is better. They've taken 7 points away from home. Gonzalo Higuain is their top goal scorer on 5 goals in 9 games. Then the next 4 top goal scorers have only scored 1 goal, mentioning players like Lewis Morgan and Breck Shea. They've scored 5 goals away from home. They're currently 13th in the East, and their record currently stands at 2 wins, 2 draws, and 7 defeats. The last time we played Inter Miami at Red Bull Arena, we lost 2-1, unfortunately, to former DP, now Fort Lauderdale player, Manuel Pellegrini. No, not Manuel Pellegrini. Pellegrini, I don't know what his first name is. I don't really care. Pellegrini, and another goal from the cigarette smoking Gonzalo Higuain. How are we feeling, Ronnie, about the game? How are we feeling about our chances?
Yeah, I think obviously if you're looking into Miami this season and our form of late, I think you're going into it quite optimistic, and I think Mr. Luke is probably the most optimistic person you ever meet in the Red Bull world, and that's really saying something. And I'm normally more of a realist, but I'm quite confident this weekend that we're playing well. We've got a good team. Obviously, some injuries still, but in Miami, one of them teams that you don't know who's going to turn up. So Gonzalo Higuain he was one of the best strikers in the world at one point, and his technique is still there if he wants to perform. But no, I think I'm quite confident that Klimala and Fabio are gelling so well now that they always will find one of each other for at least 1 or 2 chances. So, yeah, I think we should be doing all right, and I think we should be getting into that game looking at the 3 points rather than just protecting the point.
Luke, how many DPs have they got now?
I mean, now we've got 3. I think
17.
Who knows?
12,
I've heard Messi will be signing them after his contract expires to January Adidas player. What I've heard, I've
heard all other former Stoke striker, because they like to sign players from Stoke. Ricardo Fuller is going to come out of retirement and play up front for them as a DP as well.
He'll be on reserve contract.
No, I actually did hear that once you buy a season ticket into Miami, in your membership pack, you actually get a DP contract. That's what I heard.
They give him out to basically anyone. Like, do you know what I find more hilarious about that? Like, for 5 DPs, I think it's 10th. That's the most hilarious thing about it. Like, if you're gonna cheat, at least be good. Yeah. If you cheat and be crap, if you think about it, I know they've got in the playoffs, but I only got in the playoffs because they extended the playoffs due to COVID. Like, if they hadn't done that, they wouldn't have made the playoffs and they have 5 DPs.
They've got a player have Inter Miami that I absolutely hate. I hate him because he's good. I hate him because he's one of those players that you just think, you know what, I wish he was on my team. And that's Gonzalez Perez, LGP. Him at Atlanta during their title-winning season was an absolute wall. He's a tremendous on-the-ball centre-half and somebody that our strikers are really going to have to work hard to get past. Obviously, his partner, I'd imagine, is going to be, again, super stoky Ryan Shawcross. I'm a bit less concerned about Ryan Shawcross and our ability to get past him because his start to his MLS campaign I don't think has been particularly fruitful. Is there anybody... Sorry?
Who would have thought it? Like,
I don't know.
37-year-old. Who would have thought he would be past it? Like, do you reckon
Inter Miami rolling back the Grandad League glory days?
Do you reckon that's why Sky loves Inter Miami so much because of Ryan Shawcross?
It's what it is.
Who else could it be?
It's not Higuain.
No, it's not David Beckham.
But there is a former Arsenal player who's now out in Inter Miami, Kieran Gibbs. That is also another English thing.
Is he on a DP? Is he on a DP contract?
Probably. Why not?
Who isn't on a DP contract?
I've got something really big and important to reveal. I am the new DP at Inter Miami. I'm going to be playing on the weekend.
Depart tonight.
Yeah.
But no, I think also, like we're talking about their centre halves and a link between the two clubs. Obviously, Andres Reyes was on loan at them last year, so which will play in our favour. And obviously, we're not quite sure if he will be playing this weekend or not, but how impressed I've been with Reyes. Obviously, he's still young, obviously younger than he's actually born in 99, which is scary to think of still. But
Yep.
what a player. I really like Reyes, and I think he's got a big future in front of him. If he can he's got mature still because he's still young, but he's got signs and he's got that element of his game that he could be very successful.
Looking at the Inter Miami squad, I mean, I know the obvious choice, but is there anybody else who you are looking at and thinking, I'm a little bit concerned about what they can do to our team? Luke?
I actually always like Pellegrini. I always rated Pellegrini. I know he's not there anymore. He plays for Fault. Plays for the reserve team, but never actually plays with He can't come back out for 20 this season or something. He's basically stuck in limbo. I always liked him, and I think I feel sorry for him. I feel so sorry for him, like being stuck at a USL team. He should be playing for. He should be playing for a first team in MLS. He's so good. So obviously ones are Higuain, blah blah blah. But they've got not a bad squad.
Blah blah blah. Is he the new DP?
Probably. Don't let them hear that. I'll probably find something called blah blah blah.
Ronnie, anybody that you're concerned about on their side?
Yeah, I think more. Obviously, they've got quite a high level of experience, especially in their 1,000 DPs. But Blaise Matuidi's always one of them players that I think he played very well against us last year. Matuidi, that he can carry the ball. He's a strong powerhouse. Obviously, he's had experience at PSG and Juventus, so obviously maybe his legs ain't what they was. But I think a player of that quality can always just turn up, and I think we've got to be wary of him, especially carrying the ball through the midfield. And I think it'd be quite an interesting battle in there with Matuidi. Even though it's not the highest of levels of what it was for like the MLS, it's going to be a good challenge for the likes of Sean Davis.
Yeah,
I think, I agree. I think former Celt and Sunderland man Lewis Morgan as well. He's a player that I don't necessarily think has filled his potential just yet. But when Celtic brought him in from St Mirren a fair few years ago, and then he got that move to Jack Ross's Sunderland side on loan, I really thought very highly of him. I think if Jack Ross doesn't get sacked and Sunderland get promoted, he's playing in the Championship and looking toward a Premier League move. I think he's a very good player. He concerns me coming in from the wide areas. He scored some good goals last season. So, no, I think that's really looking at Higuain, Matuidi, Gonzalez Perez and Morgan. They're for me the players that I'm most sort of concerned about in every area of the pitch.
Yeah, definitely. I'm sort of very happy because Ipswich gets another signing. So Scott Fraser from MK Dons is coming to us. So see him trumpet next season.
Who's town? Ipswich. Who's Ipswich?
Are we doing this? Can we be excited? Because I'm going to trump that entirely. Obviously, being a Wolves fan, this week we've gone and signed Trincao from Barcelona. So we've signed him on loan, but with an option to buy because they have to sell players.
They can sell players.
To be sticking about.
He's talking a 50% pay cut though. Took a 50% pay cut.
We I don't know and I don't care.
Messi has.
Yeah, probably.
Messi 50% pay cut.
20-year-old Portuguese winger on loan. So unfortunately for Wolves, we have just let go of our number one goalkeeper, Rui Patricio, who goes and joins Jose Mourinho over in Rome. We are going to replace him with Jose Sá, another Portuguese shotstopper. So it's all good at Wolves. How's Arsenal these days, Ronnie? How's Arsenal?
Yeah, lose last night.
We're doing brilliant so far. First pre-season friendly, we lost to Hibernian. That was fun. Fun. And I think the biggest news out of Arsenal is everyone around the world will be able to watch them on the new All or Nothing program, or as I've renamed it, Nothing or Nothing, the Arsenal edition. But no, it's one of them. Obviously, with the Euros and everything, it's some signings we've had to delay a bit just because obviously there's still been action. But I think I'm looking forward to that. I'm just looking forward to get back in football grounds, to be honest. And I think first game's coming up in a couple of weeks at Arsenal. Is Arsenal-Chelsea in a friendly. Okay, yeah, I'll leave that one like that. But I think more and everything that we're going back to football grounds. So hopefully we can cross the Atlantic to another.
I think so.
Yeah, it should be soon. But
be
no,
soon.
I think Arsenal is one of them at the moment. We're in a rebuilding process. It's not a rush or anything. We signed a couple of younger players. We're interested in Ben White, who represented England, and I think we've just been linked to others. But we've got good young players. We've got Bukayo Saka, obviously, Emil Smith-Rowe, to name a couple, and then also American Florian Balogun, who's been promoted to the first team this season, which will be an interesting watch for both sides of the pond.
Yeah, definitely.
No, I think that's all we've got time for.
Yeah, it's about it today.
Yeah,
That's
I
about
will
it.
leave us one thing though. I do want to start. I've said we're going to start asking a question at the end of every podcast that hopefully you can interact with. So the question this week is: if you have a team elsewhere in the world, maybe England, maybe Germany, maybe Spain, who are your other teams? Obviously, we're from England. We support our English teams, Ipswich, Wolves, and Arsenal, and the New York Red Bulls are our other team over in the States. Who are your team from Europe? Let us know. Comment on Twitter, send us a message on Facebook, on Instagram, just anything. Just get involved, and we'd really like to hear what you think.
Yeah, definitely. Right. So that's about it for everything today. I'm taking Ronnie out.
Bye, Ronnie.
Bye, Ronnie. So that's about it for everything today. So from me, I'm from Scott.
That's me.
That's him. Good night. And
Right. It's really good to be back. I'm really excited.
I can't wait. More content coming soon. Keep an eye on our website, RBNYUK.com, with daily content. Our YouTube, we have pre-match, post-match, of course, our podcasts as well. So keep an eye on our YouTube. Let's have the credits.